Hello all. Well, it's time for another important video. Now, before I get started on what I'm upset about and what I've created a little petition about, I want to start this discussion by saying I'm a horror fan. I'm a big-time horror fan. And something about the horror community is back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of horror movies were heavily censored to get lower ratings by the MPAA in the US. So movies like Friday the 13th Part 7, Part 8, My Bloody Valentine, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Free, Leatherface, they were all very heavily edited. And a lot of their content was removed to get lower ratings. And as such, they're very hard to follow. And as such, the horror community has always been very wary of censorship. Anytime somebody says a movie's going a little bit too far, you'll always have horror fans complaining about that and saying, hey, let them do whatever they want. This is kind of understandable, but there's a big difference between censorship and being morally outraged about something and letting the creators of said something know that you're upset about it. And that's really all I'm trying to do. I am passionately upset about this, and I want to let the makers of this know that they've gone a bit too far, and it's really just not nice. So I've started a petition about it, and I'm making a little video to explain myself, and I hope you all take the time to read it and sign it. You'll find links about the petition under this video. Now on to what the video is actually about. Back in 1989, a movie was made called Heathers. It's a cult classic. Very hard movie for some people to enjoy because the plot's so black and dark. Dark comedy. It's about a bunch of teens, all named Heather, who are popular bullies in high school, picking on pretty much everyone who doesn't fit in. Two teens, played by Christian Slater and Winona Ryder, my tongue's getting a bit tied, these two teens decide to kill them off one by one because they're bullies, and they make their deaths look like suicide so they can get away with it. This is all black comedy, so it's played for light laughs. The plot as is pretty dark and rather iffy, and it had a hard time finding fan base for understandable reasons. But the TV show that TV Land, the TV channel that's now producing a TV show for it, has suggested is a lot more iffy and a lot more risque, to say the least. In this version of the movie Heathers, it'll be made into a TV show, but in this version of the plot that the channel TV Land has suggested, all the Heather characters, the bullies, the popular kids that are going to be killed off one by one and have their deaths made to look like suicide, all those characters have been made queer or into outcasts in some way. One of them is black and gay, another one is genderqueer, the third one is overweight, and it mocks her right in the description of the show. So, just to sum up, the plot of this show will be two kids hunting down and killing queer characters one at a time and making their deaths look like suicide. These queer characters will be villains, and their deaths will be meant to be comical. Suicides in the queer and LGBTQ community are skyrocketing. They're higher than you could possibly fathom. Suicide attempts in the trans community is as high as 46%, at least when I last checked it on the latest states. The amount of people that have been bullied and pressured and insulted and attacked online and in person and prosecuted by their own families is mind-boggling. And some of these people are pushed way too far and they don't see any other way out, and some of them do try to kill themselves. We've lost a lot of people, a lot of wonderful people. One of the most famous cases being Leila Alcorn. Countless people have killed themselves because of their gender and their sexuality and not being accepted. And this is a TV show that is going to have suicides of queer characters as the main plot. But it's not going to say that's a bad thing. It's going to turn into a joke and make light of it. And the queer characters are going to be the villains. It states in the plot synopsis that they really are going to fake the murders as suicides, and that the Heather characters really are bullies and bad characters. And their defining elements between all of them is that they happen to be queer or outcast in some way. but they're the villains of the story. They're the ones that we're supposed to side against. And their deaths are being made into suicides, and we're supposed to laugh about it. I just think that's wrong. I just think that's a horrible thing to make a show out of, and I think TV Land should really rethink this and maybe pull it. The idea of this getting multiple years and being on TV for episode after episode and people being killed off because they're queer and then we're supposed to laugh about it is kind of sick, and I don't think it's right. So I did start a petition that I would hope that you would sign. Once again, this petition isn't to get anyone fired or anything. It's to let them know that this is touching on a very serious topic, and it's something that you actually have to show some respect to, not try to make some kind of comedy show out of. So, yeah, I'm going to link the petition. I'm going to link some news articles on the number of suicides in the trans community. I'm going to link into the TV Land Facebook page. I had the hardest time contacting them. They don't make their contact information very clear. I think I emailed the right people, but I'm not sure. And I will fully admit that I did start the petition and I didn't know who to link it to. Hopefully some people will provide me more information as this goes, and maybe I can edit it and add the proper contact info. But if enough people sign it in general and we posted it enough on their Facebook page, they're bound to notice. So I really hope that, you know, if you're queer or if you're trans, you don't see this show. And I really hope that if you're not, you realize just how significantly these issues are, and they're not really something to be poked fun at. I know some people think that anything should go in comedy, and I kind of respect that, but we have the right to talk back too and say when something goes too far. And I honestly think this has. Of course, there's no trailers out or additional information, but given the plot of the original film and the plot synopsis, I think it's fairly easy to say what the show is going to be like and what it's going to attempt to achieve. So please, if you have the time, think this over and sign it. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully this hasn't disturbed you too much. I can't really say cheers right now. So take care, and I do hope that TV Land listens a bit. So long.